Okay, we are recording live. Today, I'm really stoked to have these guys on. Been following them all over Instagram for the past couple of months now, and so this is going to be a great show. Again, unfortunately, like last show, my son Devin, my co-host, he's an actor and he's been really busy, which is really good in the film and entertainment industry here, and he's done 2 commercials this week, so he's on set again today, which is, I mean, it's unfortunate for us, but really great for him because his career is starting to really move along here, which is awesome. So I'm going to do the introduction for Dev, so bear with me here. So here we go. All right. Our guests today are a team of eco-adventurers currently producing a docu-series based on a massive road trip from Alaska to Patagonia using electric cars. It's so cool. I love this. They'll be visiting and interviewing some extraordinary organizations and people that are creating solutions for a new sustainable world for all of us. So please welcome Martin, Ollie, and Tuti of Electric Americas to our show. So this is great. And if you like what we're doing, because I talk about my little cutter ant story a lot, that it takes all of us to make change in the world, and if we all do just our little bit, it changes everything. So if you like what we're doing, please subscribe and share our Impact podcast with as many people as you can. We'd really appreciate that. So we can all together, we can make changes. This episode is sponsored by the Pachamama Alliance, empowering Indigenous people of the Amazon rainforest to preserve land and culture. Surfrider Foundation, love these guys as well, dedicated to protecting the enjoyment of our world's oceans, waves, and beaches, and also the Ocean Legacy, helping stop plastic waste from entering our ocean. So yeah, welcome guys. So today we have the three members again, Martin, Ollie, and Tuti. So welcome so much to our show here.
Hello, how are you, everyone?
Yeah.
I'm Martin.
That's Martin there. Now, first thing, before we start, what we do is we do something called Two Truths and a Lie. So what they've done is they've given us some things that could be truths, it could be lies, and I have to guess, or Devin and I usually guess, which is the lie, okay? So I'm going to read these out, and I'm going to have to guess which is the lie. Okay, number one, we finally got our insurance and license plate the same day we started our trip, June 1st. Okay, yeah, possible. Number two, on the Alaska Highway in the Yukon, in the middle of nowhere, Martin had only 1% of his battery with a bunch of kilometers to go. So Tuti and Ollie had to tow him the rest of the way. That's a good one. And number three, on day one, part of the bumper of the car fell off. So we duct taped it back, and it's still duct taped on today. And you guys are in San Francisco today, so that's a long haul. On number four, on our next leg, the Baja California, will be 6 people. So 2 babies, so 6 people and 2 babies. Oh my God, you guys are nuts. This is funny. Kite surfers, paragliders, filming equipment, tripods, cameras, gear, a fridge for food, and our bags, all in 2 Teslas. This is a crazy trip. And last one I've got here, on the drive through Alaska, a grizzly bear blocked the road for several minutes. Oh man, got a whole bunch of stuff here. So I think, there's a lie in here. They're all, oh my God. Okay, how about the towing? How about you only had 1% left and Tuti and Ollie had to tow you guys? Is that?
Yeah, that's true. That's a lie. But
that's the lie. Oh, I got. There you go.
Yes.
We have it planned.
We had it planned. We were in the middle of Yukon, like literally we haven't seen anyone or anything for a long way, and supposedly there was like a lodge, an RV park where we could plug the cars, but we had like Martin had 1% or we had 1%, and we still couldn't see anything, and it was like, are we arriving anywhere like in 2 minutes, or we are going to stay here in the middle of the Rocky Mountains with like no energy whatsoever? And eventually, literally, like when we were in 1%, like a large RV park appeared in the middle of the Rocky Mountains, and we could not the Rocky Mountains, but before that, sorry, and we could
Right.
flag the car.
Oh my gosh. I know that is, it's terrifying, I guess. I've had a Tesla. I've had a Tesla Model S for 10 years now. And I think I was one of the first people in Vancouver to have one. And I still love it. It's amazing. But there have been a few times where I've been on some big road trips. My sister has a ranch in the interior here, about a 5-hour drive away. And I've got, probably 4 hours of charge or something in it. And it's just like, ooh, okay, you're kind of dodging. So how did you guys, so you guys are from Uruguay, right? Uruguay in South America, right next to Argentina, right down in close to Patagonia. And so how did you guys come up with an idea? Hey, let's get sponsorship from an electric car company like Tesla and drive from Alaska back down to Patagonia. Like, what's the deal? Like, what was your inspiration for this whole thing?
First of all, we don't have a Tesla support,
right?
Or sponsorship, but of course, Tesla are great cars to do this. And let me go with this question because I think I was the one with the crazy idea to drive in the beginning from San Francisco to Uruguay. I had recently bought a Tesla. And I remember I told my wife when we moved to the US, I'm not flying back. I'm sailing or I'm driving. And
cool,
I think
cool.
she thought it was a joke, but it was not a joke. And then I told one day when I decided to do it, I called Oliver. Hey, you should help me to film this. I just for me, I didn't want to make what it is now, but. Yeah. I think it was nice enough to have it filmed and recorded. And I'm older, so Instagram is not my like it's not new for me, but I'm not a great user, and they are amazing users of social media. So I called Oliver, hey, you should help me with this. And he kind of, let me think about it. And then he will call me the day after. Oh no, we would love to help you, but we're going with you. And I, what?
Right.
And why? Tuti, they are partners, and Tuti is responsible of sustainability, and she was studying that I think in London. You can correct me, Tuti. And then, well, this is great enough, so we can let's make it a little bigger. And the project grew, and now it's not only San Francisco to Uruguay, it's Alaska to Patagonia, filming a documentary about sustainability and sports. And it's great. It's a little scary at some points. But I think it will be a beautiful experience. So Oliver, Tuti, give your side of the story now.
Yeah, it was a bit like that. So I am a geographer. I studied geography in Europe. I was working with an environmental consultant with the United Nations Environment. I was studying then in London a master's on environmental politics, and I love it. But I realized academia, like whenever I want to discuss something with Oli, like many times it's like all this info is great, but it's not out there, or no one's doing anything, or the info is out there, but if you are not really into science or sustainability, you might not kind of grasp it. Like scientific reports are great,
right,
say, but not easily digestible. And Oli is a filmmaker, and we wanted to produce content that share climate change, adventure, sports in nature, because if you love sports, you love nature, usually sports in nature.
Exactly.
So we wanted to share all about that. We were already trying to figure out how to do that. And Martin comes up with this idea. And we were when Oli told me, it was let's join him and let's do this. This is our opportunity to do our first audiovisual content with a really good message. And Oli, you can share your view of it, but it's mostly that.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was a perfect timing for me personally. I used to have a production company back in Uruguay. We were doing lots of work as an agency, for brands, products, fashion, all that. And there was one point in my life I was kind of tired of promoting products that I didn't believe in, or I didn't it was the right direction to go. So I kind of set off and moved to Europe to work more independently and more pursuing the jobs I wanted to get involved, basically in sports and sustainability. So I was making that transition, and that at that point, Martin called me and told me this idea, and was everything clicked together and said, okay, this is a time to jump into a bigger project, focus my work into documentary storytelling, and try to get the word out there of the people who are doing something great for the environment. So yeah, that's how it started, and yeah, it took
Wow,
way
yeah.
longer to start. That was back in 2019, and we were planning to go in 2020, and obviously start in 2020. So that gave us some time to grow the project a bit more and make it a bit more ambitious.
Yeah.
And yes, finally started this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a beautiful project. I love what you're doing. It's
Thank you.
I mean, it really hits the nail on the head. And I think what Tuti was saying, you know, blending, because I mean, my son, my other son, he also graduated in geography from university, and I'm fascinated in everything that he's doing. But then he's also at extreme. He's a rock climber and he's a mountain biker, all this stuff. But so like what you're doing is you're blending these really cool things together, and so I think it's a brilliant way to do it. I love it. I absolutely love it. And then also doing the trek all the way from Alaska to Patagonia. So it's a pretty big undertaking what you guys have done here. And you have a baby. There's a baby with you.
Two babies.
There's two babies now. There's two babies. This is great. So you have two babies. So you got two babies and all this. So you know, so there must have been some challenges. I mean, at the beginning, setting this thing up must have been really tough. But now you're on the road. You're in San Francisco, California, and so you've been. How many days have you been on the road so far?
Almost a month.
Almost a month. Okay,
And,
so
and well, a little bit more because we went to Alaska some days earlier to prepare everything.
Yeah.
But the actual driving started June the 1st when we literally got our license plate from Alaska. That we
so you did. That was true. Yeah.
So today is 30 today. Yes, almost a month, and we already burn I don't know what's the 5,000 miles. So it's like a quarter of the road itself.
Right.
It was very fast this first phase.
Right.
Next one, because we don't have a lot of charging stations. It will be a little much lower, but we're gonna be nice.
Yeah. So yeah, talking about charging stations. So what have been some of the challenges that you guys have had so far? Like from charging, I know the charging bit. Any other things that have popped up? Like grizzly bears jumping out in front of you and saying stop, or you know.
Well, charging was an issue, very difficult in Alaska and in northern part of Canada. Some great news. We spent, I think, 10 days in Anchorage, and we didn't have to pay anything for charging. Everything was free.
Yeah.
And with $7 a gallon here in San Francisco or in Vancouver, or it was super. It was much nicer than pay for gas. Okay.
Right.
But then after we left Anchorage, we couldn't find. So of course, there's no Tesla superchargers and just a few L2, it's called level 2 chargers. But the amazing thing about the US and Canada, you have a lot of RV parks. So this was the plan, to stop on RV parks. And normally you have 50 amps, and Tesla has a 50 amp adapter that we could use. And we did. And then at some point we realized that some RV parks didn't open because of COVID. They had got hit very hard.
Oh.
And we were in talk near the border between Alaska and the Yukon country. And we couldn't continue because the RV parks that we planned were closed.
Right.
So I remember Oliver told me, hey, what about 30 amps? And I say, no, there's no adapter 30 to 50. I'm an engineer, so you can't do 30 to 50. Right. But he was right. Sometimes you have to think out of the box. There is adapters. And we were lucky enough to find a hardware store in front of our RV park that we're charging. And it was incredible. Like, they had the adapter, but when I try it didn't work.
Wow.
But I being an engineer, I brought some electronics device. So we built the adapter. We have to switch some cables, and we could continue the trip charging on 30 amps. It's called TT30.
Right.
The plugs, and all other parts had that. So we could continue. It was
right. So, and you guys aren't like people ask me all the time about my car. So it's like, oh, well, you know, how long does it take to charge and how long does it? And so, well, I don't really ever draw it down that much because I'm driving around here. I'm driving as I draw it down. I plug it in at night, and I never ever have to worry about charging. I have a thing, a adapter or whatever I got to plug in at my house. I went to Victoria last week and some of the Gulf Islands, and I was buzzing around, and Victoria happens to have a Tesla charge station. I plug it in, so I don't really have, so it's the drawdown on it, but you guys are doing this long journey, so you're watching that thing, and it's really cool because every time you come down a hill, what do? You look at the green on the screen, right? You look at how much you're actually charging back into the battery, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like we have some hyper mileage strategies to make a long stretch. We have two cars, Model X with 370 miles and the Model 3 with 300 miles. So normally the 300 miles is the one who less range, but it charges faster. So we driving with no AC, for example, driving is lower than 65 miles or 100 Ks.
Stereo turned down a little bit.
We don't use the brakes. It's forbidden to use the brakes. We say that every time we press the brake pedal, a baby panda dies. So we have that in mind all the time. Right. And I think I pressed the brakes 3 times in all this drive. Of course, we got the first supercharger.
You talk about the brake. The brakes they're crazy because I've had mine 10 years. I take it in for the so-called service every year to Tesla here, and they go, you've got 90% left of your brakes. I'm like, how's that possible? I've had it 10 years. I go, no, it's 90%. It's good. Like, that's not possible. But yeah, the electro, it's crazy. Yeah. So I'm gonna put up on the screen here, if you don't mind, a couple of slides.
Nice.
Go. So this is you guys. Yeah, I took a couple of shots from your website and whatever else we could dig up here. So yeah, I love again what you guys are doing. Somebody got cut off here. But I just want to show the route that you guys are. Kind of stuck with something here. So you are doing. If you may want to talk just a little bit about what you're, the route that you're taking and how far this is.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, approx is 20, as you read there, 20,000 miles.
20,000 miles, yeah.
Yes, as much as we can, we try to stay by the Pacific Ocean because we love the ocean and we like surfing and kite surfing and all those things. Yeah. But there are some areas we couldn't, like Canada. It was mostly like inland. Then where else? Well, in Mexico, we want to get inland because Martin is also a paraglider. So we like also to go to some mountains, do some paragliding. So that we are doing in Mexico. And then there are some areas we have to take a ferry because there's no route. For instance, we are doing Baja California because we really wanted to, and we are meeting a sustainable initiative there. World Surfing Reserve is like a protecting area based on surfing and waves. But then
where in the Baja is that? Do you know where in the Baja?
Todos Santos. It's like very
Todos Santos. Okay, yeah, nice.
That's beautiful. A World Surfing Reserve, and we want to share that story. So when I go through Baja, and then we have to take a ferry, for instance. And same, we have to take a ferry from Panama to Colombia because you have the Darien Gap there, so you can drive. We want to make our trip like carbon neutral, so we will offset those emissions, just as we will offset, for instance, our flights to Anchorage and the shipping of the cars to Anchorage from Seattle on a ship, Toad Maritime shipped the car for us.
Okay.
So we will compensate those emissions to be carbon neutral. And after we do that crossing from Panama to Colombia, for instance, in Cartagena, again, that Colombia is all inland. We have to go like all straight through Colombia.
Sure, yeah.
It's gonna be a hard one for sure.
Yeah, charging in Colombia. I was in Cartagena, and then I went south for quite a while, about a few years ago, and I didn't see any charging stations. I tell you that much, but yeah.
No, not at all. Like all Central America, mostly. Well, Mexico, there are some charging stations, and it has been growing. Like we have compared like 2020 when we were planning to do it to now. There are way more chargers now. Not Teslas, right? But other chargers that we can get adapters. So that's great.
Fantastic.
But there are many areas like Central America and South America, there's like 0 chargers. And then we will just have to plug at a normal outlet at a home. and we just wait.
Oh, and
4 days.
trickle charge 4 days. Yeah.
And then we film and we serve, and we have so much edit to do, and like, so we have stuff to do. It's not that, oh, you just wait 4 days, just hanging there. No, days go fast. You want one day you serve and you shoot, and then you edit, and then you answer emails to people that you want to meet on the next leg of the trip. That's a very big challenge of the trip. Also, aside from charging, is like, because some people think we are going fast, but we are going slow, but we're actually going pretty fast. Like the maximum we are at a place is like 4 days. You have to, if you want to film and share the message of sustainable initiatives, we have to arrange with them in advance, like let them know we are arriving. Are you going to be there? Sometimes they say yes, and when we are getting there, something comes up and they are not there. So you have to change our plan. Or we are meeting with sports, with athletes. And now the athlete we are meeting in Canada, when she arrived, she had COVID, so we couldn't film with her. So all those logistics are like super complicated. It's not that we arrived in Costa Rica to this place, we want a sustainable initiative we want to share, and we can stay there for 2 weeks. No, because if not, we will arrive to Uruguay like, south of Patagonia, like, I don't know, end of next year, and we don't have like the economic sources to do that.
There are non-funded non-profit.
Right. Right.
So we have to finish this trip eventually and be able maybe to get some sell what we have been doing in a way, like documentary, edit the documentary and try to put it out there.
So sustainable, go to the sustainable initiative. So you've gone from Alaska to, you're in San Francisco now. So what type of people have you interviewed or met so far with some really kind of cool initiatives? I mean, initiatives or technology or whatever they're doing. Yeah.
Now that we were in Vancouver, there, Ollie. Well, Ollie, you can share about Sam. I think that was very interesting because it was not an NGO or a company or whatever. It's just you share, Ollie, a kite surf.
It's great. It was a bit unexpected, but I believe those are the best things. I have a really good friend called Sam Medisky. He lives in Squamish.
Beautiful place. Yeah, beautiful. Great climbing and and also kiteboarding there now too. Yeah,
it's beautiful. We get to know each other kite surfing around the world. We were competing in the world tour together as athletes. It happens that he was there. We connected through social media, and he invited us to his home. And his home has this amazing thing. It's totally 100% off the grid. So he gets his energy from the cascade, from the river, from the stream.
Yeah.
He gets his wood from the forest to heat his home, and actually the Wi-Fi he gets is from Starlink. It's from
Starlink. So
it's completely off the grid, and he showed us how he did it, and it's actually pretty simple. Like, obviously, if you're in the right place, if you have the stream close to your house and stuff like that, but it was really straightforward, and it was a beautiful, cozy, warm house, which we stay in like for the whole weekend. So it's really interesting,
And we met something like, for example, he was not in the plan, and when he learned what we were doing, he totally invited us to his home, and I think something I wanna. It's like we met incredible people along the way. Like, I think most people, I will say 99%, is like great people. We got kicked out from some RV parks because they thought we were draining too much energy. And that's not true. So I think we have a lot to work on that. Because they see charging for many hours, and they think, oh no, this is going to be very expensive and drain a lot of energy, and it's not like that. Of course, on the other hand, we also learned some energies they're producing with basically generators and oil or diesel. So we understand their side, and we hope they understand our side. And they have the infrastructure to install EV chargers, because they have already the electrical system working. So for them, we're going to be very easy to upgrade to EVs. And it was pretty amazing. But we have other sustainable initiatives that we met.
Yeah.
Whitehorse was really interesting also because
who was that? Sorry.
Whitehorse, the Yukon.
Oh, and
territory,
Whitehorse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they in the Museum of Transportation they have
Mhm.
an EV charger, and when
Mhm.
they heard we were arriving, they wanted to organize a meeting with us. They were very happy of having
Yeah.
us there because the government is promoting EVs and they are giving like lots of benefits if you have an EV. So they made they interviewed us. Actually, it was Natalie she worked in the government,
The Yukon energy department,
Right.
something like that, and she like interviewed us, and we didn't have a place to stay. We were leaving actually that day, and she was like, no, please stay home, so we could do an interview with her. So that was great. And like they wanted to share about us, to show people in Whitehorse that are a bit skeptical of using EVs, that it is possible,
Yes. Yes.
that it is true that with the cold, the range is reduced. That's a fact. But if you're going to use it to be like around town, around the city, as you were saying, like its range is never going to be a problem unless
Never,
you're
no.
going like to explore, like we are doing the outdoors, like that's different.
Mhm.
For most people living in town, they could have an EV.
Yeah,
an EV.
it's really interesting, that you said that, because I mean, we're really fortunate here also on the west coast of Canada. Here is that all of our energy comes from hydroelectric, right? So it's a clean energy source. But I was in the UK a few weeks ago. My wife and I did a trek through Scotland over the moors and for 7 days and up over the mountains and stuff. And one night I turned on a TV in this little pub we had little rooms and pubs, and it was the British, and it was their equivalent, I guess, of Fox News in Britain. And it was all about the negative side of EVs. And these guys were lambasted, and the stuff that they were saying blew my mind. It's exactly what you said. It's going to drain our grid. You have to replace tires 4 or 5 times a year because the cars are so heavy. The rubber lays down on the roads, and I'm just sitting there going, this is complete like BS. Like, I can't believe what the propaganda against EVs is. And of course, it was this beautiful girl on the Fox, that kind of the British, and it's like selling this crap to, I just was blown away. My wife and I are sitting there on our bed watching the TV going, I can't believe they actually have this on it. But uneducated people are going to believe it because they don't know anything else, right? And which is, yeah.
And this is one of the main goals of this trip. We want to prove that this road trip, the Pan American Highway, is possible even on an electric car. Yes. And we can do it on an electric car today. Like everyone who can afford it. No, Teslas are not affordable cars, but prices will go down, and there is no excuse to have an EV on your daily.
Yeah. I mean, the interesting thing, you said Teslas aren't affordable cars. I thought that, when I first bought it was very, very expensive. But I had a BMW before that, right? And I've amortized everything over the years. And now I'm at the point where the Tesla was a much better value than buying, a BMW or any other type, because the price of fuel I was paying every year, every time I took that car into the shop for maintenance, it was $3,000. Like for brakes, for this, for that. It was, and every time I take the Tesla, and it's nothing. Like there's nothing
moving
there.
parts, yeah.
Up front for sure. It's the sticker price is a shock for any of these electric cars. But if you amortize things and you compare it to a gas car, you're much better off in the long run. And my car now, I actually have an F-150 Ford truck, right, which I've had for a long time. I had it before. The thing looks like a wreck, and the Tesla's only 2 years. And if I washed my Tesla, it would look brand new. It would look these electric cars, I don't know. I'm very pro, as you can see.
And I think people in the beginning, I remember with Prius, they wanted to show that they're green and they're pro environment.
Sure.
But I think that's not the reason why EVs will be mainstream. They're much better cars.
It's a much better car.
Much better to use. Like my wife the IC car now, internal combustion engine, like Tesla owner says.
Okay.
And every time I use it, it's like, wow, I stop and I heard the engine, and wow, what is this? And it's I think they're much more convenient for everyone. And as soon as prices go down there, I think there's no way it won't be mainstream. I think in 5 years, it's going to be much, much better. And for example, charging is an issue, and it still is for us.
Sure.
But it's incredible how it had improved from 2020 when we initially planned it to now. We're with Tuti now, we're replanning the routes. And it even in Latin America, Central America, like we have much more charging stations than when we initially planned it. I told Tuti and Oliver the other day, I don't think this is a challenge anymore.
Right.
And of course, I hope.
Except for you get something like this, maybe as a challenge. This bear standing in the booth. But,
Got super near. He like literally walked. Like you see Ollie in the background. He's filming out of the car.
Oh, I can see his camera. Yeah.
That's Ollie. I was driving that part.
That's a beautiful photograph, you guys. I mean, that is amazing.
Wow. Our first guest was a photographer.
Yeah.
Mateo
he took this picture.
And incredible picture.
Yeah, but then the bear just walked toward us, and he was getting near, and I have the filming from inside the car. Slowly started putting the window up again, like ooh, and then when the bear arrives, the window completely like blocks his way. And Oli was telling me, please be ready to like speed, like because if they get aggressive, they can easily break the window. So it's like, please just be ready to speed if I tell you. And I was like, no, he was just curious.
It's interesting.
Smelled us. He was like, okay, this is a cool car. And let's just
he didn't hear you coming. You were so quiet, right? If you had a big gas engine, it ran away, but
someone asked me, and I was like, well, it might be, I'm not sure, like via Instagram, they saw that we were showing a lot of bears, what we were encountering, and he was like, do you think you might be seeing more bears than another car due to your electric engine, that they don't hear you coming? So when you pop up, it's like, oh, what's this? And I was like, I don't know, but it might be a possibility that you end up seeing more wild animals because they don't hear you coming until you are actually just there. So it might be,
yeah. Oh, I guess that. So this is you guys. I'm just showing some more photographs here.
Yes, please.
Yeah. I like this. You guys paddleboarding in Prince William Sound in Alaska here. This is really a cool.
And we got into the water.
Shot. And you jumped in. Yeah.
Tuti was the first. I was the first to jump, and Tuti was the real courage one who put her head in the water.
Nice.
And it was cold.
Ice cream headache, they call that. Yeah. Actually, that's funny because my son, you guys heard of Wim Hof? You know, the crazy.
I did the course in Amsterdam.
You did? Hey? Yeah. I was having a bit of anxiety issues at the beginning of COVID. Just, I don't know. I was doing a lot of stuff with my business and everything. And then my son was doing Wim Hof, right? And then he got me here in the house. He laid me down. He says, okay, let's do the breathing. And then, so I've been doing the breathing and the cold water plunging, and my wife, my son, all of us every day for probably 2 years now in ice. It's like totally changed my life. Anyway, that's a different subject, but I mean, Ali, as you know, it's incredible. Hey, it's just, it
works.
It works, calms us down. Yeah.
Quick question: How do you do it in your home? Do you just like cold water from the shower, or do you
actually put
ice?
I lived at, so my wife and I lived at Whistler for the first year of COVID. So we were going down to the lake and breaking the ice and going into the lake, and Nita Lake, I was going into Alta Lake, but Nita Lake has a nice spot to go. And then I'm fortunate I have a swimming pool here, and so in the winter we break the ice in the swimming pool. And we go in. Now it's getting a bit warm, so I ended up buying a horse feeder tub, like a polyethylene horse feeder. It's like 100 gallons, and I put water, and then I put ice in. But I was making so much ice, so now I use milk jugs that I fill with water, and I put them in the freezer, and then I leave them so the summer is harder to get really cold. But we have a river here called in North Vancouver called Lynn Creek, which is really cold all year. So we go there and we do our thing, and
have options.
There's lots of options. So I mean, we're talking about cold, and now we're talking about these crazy heat waves that you guys have one of your slides here, and bringing awareness to global warming too. Do you want to talk anything about that, you guys? Or
yeah, I don't know if anyone wants to jump in, but I guess what we want to share the message that this is real, that this is happening, that is
Yes.
like one of the people we interviewed also there in Canada. He's a climate scientist,
Yes.
Simon, and he had a TED talk really nice that I can share later on. And he
Mhm.
says something like, even for him as a climate scientist, it's hard to believe sometimes that we humans, like tiny things next, if you compare us to the universe or to the earth, we can be changing the climate, something so big and so massive. But science has shown that we are changing the climate, even if it's
Absolutely.
hard to believe, like
Mhm.
because it's just crazy we are able to do this, but we are doing it. And like we experimented, and particularly there, like in the west coast here, you have been having extreme heat waves, and you see like with the
Absolutely.
fires, you experience it at your homes because your homes are not prepared for the heat. So
No.
what would that mean if if temperatures keep rising in terms of all the people that are living in the city? How will you need to adapt your homes? What will be that cost, or like what's that infrastructure change you will need to have? So it's like there's so many things that would really impact if we don't control this
Yeah.
change in the
And that's
climate.
really interesting what you just said about our homes. And I just saw something on this week for here in the British Columbia government announced that they're going to put some legislation forward that all new built homes, as of I think in 2 or 3 years, have to be prepared and equipped for heat extremes, like with heat pumps and all this stuff for cooling. We live in Canada. Like we've never ever had it ever think about anything like this. Now we're talking about these heat bumps. Last summer here, temperatures in Vancouver were over 40 degrees, which has never been heard of. We had is it Lillooet or Lytton? I can't remember, but the town got completely wiped out. So if you guys were doing your trip last year or in the year before, you would have started in Alaska and you would have got all the way down, all the way through probably to San Diego, and you wouldn't have been able to see anything because of the smoke.
Smoke, yeah,
The
it was
smoke
great.
was so thick. So it was almost, so people here in Vancouver are thinking, see, the most incredible months of the year are July and August, like in most of the northern hemisphere, right? July and August is beautiful. People now are thinking, where are we going to go in August because it's so horrible, we can't see anything, and we're choking on smoke. We need to move. We need to go somewhere else. That's what people are talking about now. It's because it's become so bad, these fires.
Yeah, here in
Yes.
California have been crazy. Like San
Crazy.
Francisco,
Yeah.
we had some red days. Like it was unbelievable. The views were amazing, by the way, but
Yes.
breathing was not good. And I
Yeah.
remember we were on Sam's house, and he had a temperature. I don't know how to. Well, the temperature max and mins. And last year it was minus 20
Yes.
centigrade
Yeah.
Celsius, and
Centigrade.
plus 42 it was on the
Yeah,
mountain
they're good.
and high
I
in
know.
Squamish.
It's Squamish
Oh,
and
man,
Squamish. I know.
and I saw it there, like
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
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 I like the cold, but I don't like the hot. Yeah, that's it's just this is a great photograph.
You like the cold?
I gotta show you guys
go
here.
to swim. You should go swimming on the glacier.
I did a hike with my son. We did a 3-day backpacking up to Mount Robson in British Columbia, and there's a glacier flows right down into this glacier fed lake. We were in there doing our Wim Hof. He fell over and passed out on the beach afterwards, but he kind of, yeah.
But it was amazing talking with how the glacier changed over the years. We were with what was
Yes.
his name? Our guide, Steve. Yeah, it was
Steve,
Steve is great.
So where was this? Where was this shot? This was a glacier.
It's in Valdez.
That was in
Valdez
Valdez.
Lake.
Oh yeah,
Valdez Lake, or Valdez Glacier Lake. That
Yes.
it used to be like the glacier used to come all the way, like what now it's a lake basically. Now it's a lake.
Yeah.
And how it moves, and I remember he telling me, well, for better or for worse, the climate is changing. Like people can argue what's the cause, if it's human cause or if it's natural, but the reality, we can see it. And something he said, and I asked one of the scientists that we interviewed, like, and for some places it's gonna be better. Like for example, here in Valdez we have more sunlight days. Okay, that's good. But for an average, I think is for the world. I think is not. I always ask myself that question. We always hear about the downsides of climate change and how it impacts in a bad way our lives. But is there upside?
Yeah.
And it was very good, the interview we had with Simon, and it was very straightforward about the answer. And it was, but we're like everything for millions or thousands of years, we're used to this temperature. So when it changed, it caused of course, some places, some people, some will get better in some ways. We have to have shorter winters, maybe it's good. Yeah. But in average, the world is not prepared for animals. Humans are not prepared for that. So I finally got my answer that I asked it myself many times.
One of his main points was also that most humans, like human civilizations, most of us live by the coast. Like if you see a map of density population, we are all by the coast. And with this global warming, water risings, and many cities are going to be underwater. Also in Vancouver, you had a big flooding. He showed us the pool, the like local pool there, like in Vancouver, like next to what's the name? I don't remember the name, but he told us now this year they cannot use it. Yeah, go say it.
Well, sorry.
You're going to say, Nigel.
Where is it again?
With K. Kids with K.
Kitsilano?
Kitsilano, yeah, exactly.
Oh, wow, yeah, because there's Coquitlam, there's Kitsilano, there's all these. They're all indigenous names. Yeah, Kitsilano. Just it's right over here. I can see it right now. Yeah.
Yeah, and the flooding like that you had last year, like they now you cannot use the pool this year because it's destroyed it. And
exactly.
You still
massive
have the city.
Flooding.
Yeah, but there are many cities like already small islands that are starting to get like flooded, right? Underwater.
Yeah. It was my wife and I, we actually did a journey to through Peru, northern Peru, in February, March, I think it was this year. And with a good friend of ours, he's a curandero, he's a wisdom keeper, Andean wisdom keeper. And we did various ceremonies. We did quite a few ceremonies in very remote areas. And it kept coming into my visions that I was having was, the world, we're killing the world, we're killing our planet, or whatnot. So I talked to, his name's Jamie Alvarez Acosta, and he's from Cusco, but he lives in Vancouver as well. He goes back and forth. Incredible guy. And I said, Jamie, I have these visions, and I have these keeps coming that, that we're killing our planet and we're killing the world. And, what the heck are we doing? I was getting really emotional. And he says, Nigel, the world will be fine. The world will be fine. It's us. We may not be there.
We are killing
the human. Ourselves. We're killing ourselves. We're not. I mean, the planet will always regenerate.
I always repeat,
a billion years from now, but we may not be there.
Nature always wins.
Nature, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that really put the nail on the head. That we need to get our shit together, as you say. Yeah. So Ollie, I want to talk about some of the sports stuff that you guys are doing too. That because I'm really all the so you're doing kiting. Are you doing some kiting, climbing, and all sorts of main
sports are in water. We love the ocean, and personally I've been involved in the water sports for a long time, starting with sailing and then switched to board, dedicated to that.
Mm-hmm.
From that I went to making. Mainly all our cars are packed with foiling devices. The one that puts you over the water and allows you to surf smaller waves or to kite with less wind. So that's really practical for us because you don't get the perfect conditions every day.
Right.
And then for the surfing part, we will need to rent some boards or have some friends along the road who share the rides. Then Martin is doing a lot of paragliding too. I'm slowly starting to look at it and starting to try it out.
It's beautiful.
Which is really fun. I think something really important to mention here is that we wanna encourage people to go out there in the water, to go out flying the paragliding, and start to feel more connected to nature. And I think when you are in that state of flow, basically when you have to pay attention of every single movement and decision you do in the paraglide or in the kiting in extreme conditions, you are in a flow state. You're a present moment. You actually
Yes.
connected to everything around you, and
Exactly.
it's then when you really like understand like what's going on with the nature and how you feel connected to it.
Yeah.
If you stay all day in the behind your laptop and stuff, it's hard to people to care about the air we breathe or the water we drink and all of
Yeah.
that. So that's a really important part of our journey.
Yeah.
To
I
encourage.
love what you're saying about flow. I love that
Yeah.
term flow. And
Yeah.
a lot of us had a tough time during COVID, the COVID years. But there's a lot of positive stuff that came out of it too. And I think what you said about people reconnecting with nature, I'm so fortunate. I live right on the backside of a mountain, and I would go out on a Tuesday afternoon and go for a hike. I wouldn't see another soul, nobody. But during COVID, I was out there and there were people with babies and baby backpacks crashing through the like over and hiking and so people have been getting outside, which has been really, really cool. And what you talk about flow is that my wife and I, we were so fortunate. We lived at Whistler for the year. And we go hiking a lot. We're always in the woods and we're always hiking, but we slowed down. And like you said, we got into a bit of a flow and we would, look at we touch the trees, touch a tree. We got into mushrooming. I never knew anything about mushrooms before COVID.
Yeah.
Now we collect mushrooms, we forage, we're cooking the mushrooms. And when I go for a hike with my wife, we just walk and we enjoy everything around us. We, like the Japanese call it tree bathing. They call it tree bathing. And so we just go slowly and we enjoy, as opposed to I've got half an hour. I got to go in, I got to do my jog and I got to get out. It's it's a process and it just changes your whole consciousness. It's
Exactly.
just, and it's exactly what you said. You get into the flow and it's so powerful.
And then you see how time changes, no? When you
Yes.
get into the flow, like it's so relative, like 1 minute
Yeah.
can feel like ages,
Yeah.
just because you're really connected to that. And I feel nowadays in our life with so much stimulus with the screens and all that,
Yeah.
like we are just speeding up the time. We're
Yeah.
just putting
Oh, yeah.
fast forward in our lives, and
Yeah.
that's kind of a shame. Like it's hard sometimes to take because you say,
Yeah.
okay, another day, another year passed, another 10-year passed, and
Yeah.
it's going faster and faster. And I think, at least personally, my mission will be to slow down the time a bit.
Yeah.
and I
That's
find
right.
and I find that in this doing sports and connecting in that flow state. And
Yeah.
that's why I think we do it a lot.
And we live our lives. It's like, I just got to get to here. If I do another week of this, I can get to here. If I get, but we never get there. It's always this rush to get somewhere we can't achieve. Right. And
the thing is the journey. The journey is what you need to
exactly. And they say it's the journey, and it really is. It really is. It's like, and I have a hard time doing that because I'm a bit ADD. And even in my workouts, I do these long breathing. I do this breathing exercise, and then I do the cold plunge. I do this. But when I'm doing my breathing, I'm laying on my mat doing my breathing, but I'm thinking, a half an hour ahead, I'm going to be in the cold plunge. It's like, no, Nigel, come back. You're doing the breathing right now. You're not, just stop it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's really, really hard to do.
It's meditation.
It's be now it's meditation. It's be in that moment. And the monks, and they've known it for thousands of years, but it's, our world is, we just need to crack that and step back a little bit. It's, yeah, no, you're
believe that.
You're bang on with that. Yeah.
More into sports, they will appreciate more nature and take care of it. I don't have the data to back that, but I would bet on that. And we also use sports to, like, I think Tuti also mentioned that, but I think this is very important. We want to use sports to bring, like, to tell the message about sustainability.
Exactly.
We don't want to show a boring interview only.
Yeah.
Because
that's right.
We will only touch people who are already into that, and we want to bring people who are not into that yet.
Yes.
And this is the message I think we want to do with the documentary.
There was a docu-series during COVID. I think it was Zac Efron and then Darren O'Lean. I think Darren O'Lean, they did that show. And I watched it because, again, I wasn't a big Zac Efron fan before, but then with him and Darlene, I thought they were really good. But they were doing, I think they were doing the right thing. I mean, they had a little bit of sport. They had some fun, and they were doing cold plunges somewhere, right? And then they were going to visit thermo, plants and all that. It was really interesting, and I think it got the general public, interest. So what you guys are doing is kind of it's on another level, and I think it's just fantastic. I think it's super cool.
Yeah. It's kind of different because they already have the audience.
They have an audience. I know.
They can create an impact like straight away, which is amazing. I really like that they are doing it.
Yes.
Our thing is a bit more challenging because we need to create the audience, and we need to bring people to see what we're doing. And one trigger of that is the adventure and the sports. We want to show something so incredible in the visuals, like people flying, people kiting, people surfing, that people who don't know us want to see the content and want to see what we're doing. And that's when we want to engage with that. And coming a little back to what we talked earlier about the sports, is not to be more aware of of nature, but to be a bit more aware of yourself. Because you cannot help nature if you're not taking care of yourself first. Right. You cannot help others if you're confused with yourself. So first step with everything would be, okay, go out there, enjoy a walk in the mountain, have a swim, connect a bit more with yourself, and then when you have that done, automatically as a consequence you will take care of nature. But it's hard to take care of something else if you don't take care of yourself first.
Exactly.
So sports we practice, I think they require, I love what you said, Oliver, and they require a lot of discipline in a way. Just to begin practicing, to learn, it requires like a lot of patience and a lot of time, and have make a decision to make it, and then walk the talk.
Right.
And then when you're practicing both kite surfing on the level Ollie does and paragliding, they have some risk involved. So if you're not conscious of that, mistakes are very expensive. Okay? And so it requires you to be very, very present in the moment and make good decisions and focus. And you can use that for the rest of your life. And I think that's amazing.
Yeah. I know. I know what you're saying, like you got to help yourself first, and there's so many people on the planet that are just trying to feed themselves, right? And I did a lot. I worked in Egypt for about 5 years in the mid 1980s, and I was doing environmental mapping. I was a scuba diver, and I was mapping the reefs and the coast and for all the oil pollution. And I was with a helicopter pilot, and I flew over the Sinai Peninsula, and we were flying up the west side of the Sinai, and it was just covered in oil. As far as I could see, it was oil this thick all along the beaches. And I landed, and I was just like, oh my God, this is completely insane. And he said, we got to do something about this. This is not right. And the helicopter, he was an American guy, and he said to me, Nigel, I know what you mean. He said that 300 miles from here is Cairo. He says the people there, he says, all they're concerned about is feeding themselves. They don't know what's going on here. They have no awareness of this. And really, I don't think they care, because they, the number one thing is feeding themselves. But it's like you're saying, it's education. So vehicles and things that what you guys are doing, it's amazing. No matter where you are in the world, you could be. I was in Ethiopia, and I was in Kenya, and in the middle of nowhere, I was with the Maasai people in Kenya about 2 years ago. But everybody's got one of these. And through this it's magic that messages can be shown and portrayed, and things like you got your message can get to those people, and so we can change the world through this and through media and showing people how important it is to help protect our planet. Yeah. So I just want to, is there any other little tips or things you guys want to throw out? What we'll do is in the end here, we'll put all of the links that you guys have sent us. And is there anything else you want to say before we wrap up? I just want to say thanks for what you're doing. You guys are game changers, and I know, like in your hearts, you're doing it for the right reason. And your babies, those two babies, are going to grow up to be, they're going to be total amazing global citizens. They're going to make huge change in the world because of what you guys are doing now with them. I guarantee it. You know, call me in 40 years from now. I guarantee it if I'm still alive. Is there any other little things you want to throw out here?
Just invite people to be a part of it. Like if they got to this part of the podcast, they probably care about what you and we are doing.
Right.
So yeah, just feel free to reach out to us, and we got to do it together. That's the only way to do it better.
Exactly. And follow these guys all the way down the coast. We're going to put the route back up. So if by any chance you're in any of those areas there, and follow them on Instagram, pop by and say hello and give them a good cheer as they drive by. This is super cool. So one question too is, when do you expect the show to be out? Like late 2023, I think, or
yeah, that will be the date for the
Probably, right?
docu-series. It will take a lot of post-production.
yeah,
But what's interesting is that we're shooting out some vlog videos as we go,
Excellent.
with maybe 2-3 weeks of later on. Like for example, now today we are releasing the one just what Alaska here in San Francisco. Then in 2 weeks we're gonna release one from Alaska. So
Okay.
it's a way for people to see what we're doing, what we do behind the camera, backstage, and yeah,
Very
get a
cool.
bit more involved with us.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Just we'll keep us posted. We'll keep resharing everything that you guys post, because I think what you're doing is really, I mean, it's super cool for one thing, but it's really doing something to help, make our world a better place for all life on our planet. So thanks so much, you guys.
Thank you, Nigel, for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you for help us spread the voice of what we're doing, and I think it's very aligned what you do. And congratulations, is an amazing work you do. Thank you.
We're all part of this. We're all part
of the trip,
together,
and
so,
we didn't fight, so that's very good, because it's not easy to have to be on a team that everyone has roles, but it's demanding and it's stressful. And I think that's I'm happy about two things. First, we've been meeting incredible people. I think I'm not scared about that anymore. There was an issue before the trip, because you never know, and now we're an amazing team. And it's easy. I'm so happy.
Beautiful. That's awesome. Okay.
If I could add one thing, is like,
oh, she's got something to say. Now you're in trouble.
No, not related to that. No.
You forgot to clean the dishes.
Yeah.
It was something good. So we're going to release in our webpage a map that you can kind of see live. It's not really live, but almost where we are. And you can leave a message. So imagine we are like somewhere in Nicaragua, and you are like North Costa Rica. So you can let us know, hey, I'm here in Costa Rica. I have a place for you to stay, or I have this initiative I would like you guys to meet. So you can leave us a message there, and we can go through where you are. Or like if you're in Chile and you're
Fantastic.
let us know.
How long are you in San Francisco for?
We arrived 2 days ago, and we are leaving in 2 days also to Santa Cruz.
Okay.
We are filming something there.
Santa Cruz. Yeah, gonna stay there for a few days, I guess, huh?
Yes.
I'm staying a couple of days more. I'm leaving the 6th, because I'm leaving San Francisco, by the way. We're moving back to Uruguay at the end of the trip. So we have to pack everything, and it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
So I'm staying a couple of more days.
Yeah. No, we have some friends in San Francisco. We have actually the Pachamama Alliance. They're one of the sponsors here. They're an amazing group that work with the indigenous tribes of the Amazon to help preserve their way of life. My family spent time with the Oshawa people there. And Lynn Twist, she's an incredible woman. She runs, she's one of the founders of the Pachamama Alliance. She's in San Francisco. So yeah.
She's here.
Yeah, she's there. Yeah, she's there. Yeah, she could be in Ecuador. She could be in Ecuador, and she's always back and forth between Ecuador. But I'll give you all their contact info. Yeah, yeah, very cool. So thank you so much, Martin, Ollie, and Tuti. I really, really appreciate it. And keep on going, and just keep us posted on how things are going.
Thanks so much.
Okay.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.